All right, welcome back to another explainer. Look, if you're a focused learner, grinding away, preparing for that IELTS academic exam, you've landed in the absolute perfect place today. We're going to unlock what I like to call the ultimate cheat code for your IELTS writing score. Specifically, we are talking about how to write a genuinely good overview in IELTS Academic Task 1. Seriously, it's just a single paragraph, but it can entirely change your results.
So let me ask you something. Do you ever feel just completely trapped? Like you're stuck at a band 5 or maybe a 6 in writing task 1. Man, it is incredibly frustrating, especially when you know for a fact you're writing in perfectly good English, you're putting in the effort, your grammar is solid, your vocabulary is varied, but your score just will not budge. Well, we've all been there, and the culprit might actually be way simpler than you think.
To figure out why this keeps happening, we've really got to look under the hood at how the test is actually graded. Your task achievement score makes up exactly 25% of your total mark for this section. I mean, that is a massive chunk of your grade. It makes task achievement a highly critical area to master. If you miss the mark on what the prompt is fundamentally asking you to do, your overall writing score is going to severely drop. No doubt about it.
Now, what's really interesting here is that magic number 7. Hitting a band 7 in task achievement is, well, it's completely impossible without one very specific, non-negotiable element in your report. You could have absolutely perfect spelling, incredible sentence structure, the whole shebang, but without this one element, the examiner literally cannot give you that 7.
So here's our quick roadmap for today's explainer. First, we'll cover the secret to band 7, then the anatomy of an overview. Next, what you must include, followed by where does it belong? And finally, we'll wrap up with common mistakes to avoid. We're going to systematically demystify this whole process.
Okay, let's dive right into this first section, the secret to band 7.
The British Council's own grading rubric actually treats a clear overview as a mandatory gatekeeper. The rules are crystal clear and publicly available for anyone to see. If you omit an overview, you absolutely cannot score above a band 5 for task achievement, period. And to hit that coveted band 7, well, the rubric specifically demands a clear overview. It is, without a doubt, the single most important paragraph in your entire report.
Moving on to Section 2, Anatomy of an Overview. Let's define exactly what this crucial paragraph actually is.
I absolutely love this analogy from the critical reader. They give this brilliant piece of advice. Imagine that you are describing the graph to a child. Think about that. An overview is simply a 1 to 3 sentence story of the main trend. It should be so clear, so easy to comprehend, and honestly so general that someone could understand exactly what's happening in the data without even seeing the chart. You're just identifying the overall takeaway and presenting it in a highly condensed way.
All right, let's shift to Section 3, what you must include. What are the exact ingredients you need?
When you're staring down a line graph, a pie chart, a table, or maybe a process diagram, I want you to run through this rapid-fire mental checklist. You're scanning the visual, specifically looking for high numbers, low numbers, big differences between the data points, notable changes over time, and overall trends like, if all the lines on a graph are generally going up or generally going down. Now, you don't need to list every single one of these. Just selecting 2 or 3 of these key features to group together is going to create the absolute perfect summary statement.
Next up, Section 4, Where does it belong? Let's settle the debate on essay structure.
Okay, here is the most logical and highly recommended essay structure you can follow. Step 1, your introduction, where you paraphrase the prompt. Step 2, your overview. And Step 3, your body paragraphs, where you finally dive into the details. While it's technically acceptable to toss the overview at the very end of the report, placing it right after the introduction groups your ideas so intelligently. It's just fantastic practice, because the examiner reads your general summary of the main points first, right before diving into all those specific details in the body paragraphs. It just makes intuitive sense, doesn't it?
And guys, here is a massive tip that is going to save you so much stress. To start your paragraph, just say the word overall. Let's bust the myth right now that you need fancy, complex vocabulary for this part of the test. Using a simple, formulaic presentation word like overall or in summary is vastly preferred. If you try to force in risky, unnatural synonyms like conspicuous, your English is just going to sound weird for an academic report, and you'll likely lose points. Honestly, keep it simple.
Finally, Section 5, Common Mistakes to Avoid. Let's go over the fatal flaws that routinely ruin candidate scores.
First up, the biggest trap of them all. We really need to highlight the stark difference between an overview and a conclusion.
An overview summarizes trends without specific numbers, and it belongs firmly in Task 1. A conclusion, on the other hand, restates main arguments and belongs exclusively in Task 2. This is absolutely crucial. A conclusion will kill your score in Task 1 because you're writing a descriptive report, not an argumentative essay. You should never ever be repeating and restating points in a short 150-word report. Simply put, do not write a conclusion for your graph.
And I really cannot emphasize this enough. Warning, do not include specific numbers or statistics in your overview. I know, it is incredibly tempting when you're looking at a graph totally full of data. But specific data points, exact percentages, and exact dates, those belong exclusively in your body paragraphs to support your points. Keep the overview general. Remember that child analogy from earlier? You're telling the story, you're not just reciting a spreadsheet.
Here's one more structural mistake to watch out for. Avoid 2 single-sentence paragraphs. Think about it. If you write a 1-sentence introduction, hit enter, and then write a 1-sentence overview, it just looks like a total lack of organization. It shows poor development, and it will actively hurt your coherence and cohesion score. Instead, actually write a developed introduction paragraph that groups your initial thoughts logically. Or, just combine the intro and overview into one solid, meaty paragraph.
So, what does this all mean for you? The crucial takeaway is that mastering the overview is entirely in your control once you know the rules of the game. The next time you sit down with a line graph or a process diagram, find those high and low numbers, spot those overall trends, start your second paragraph with the word overall, and confidently leave the specific details for your body paragraphs. You literally have the ultimate cheat code for Task 1 right now. But it kind of makes you wonder, right? If a single missing paragraph can instantly cap your Task 1 score at a band 5, what hidden, unwritten rules are secretly destroying your Task 2 essay score? Well, something to think about. Until next time, keep analyzing and keep writing.